So we shall continue with the nuclear and particle physics. So we have been discussing earlier about beta decay, about the continuous beta spectrum. Why do you get the continuous beta spectrum? It is because of the neutrino. The neutrino is carrying the extra energy. So to brief only, then we will be able to proceed with the neutrino. So in beta decay we get a continuous beta spectrum. Why is it continuous? Because the energy, whatever energy available, is shared between beta particle and the neutrino or the antineutrino. Therefore the spectrum is continuous. Therefore now we will say about neutrino. What are the properties of the neutrino which is accompanying beta particle? So we will be discussing about the neutrino properties and a term called helicity. What is that helicity? And we find that there is a parity violation in beta decay. There is no parity violation in alpha decay, but in beta decay we find parity violation. We will just see what is it in the lecture. And also, what is the origin of beta particle? Inside the nucleus we have got the beta particle coming out. What is the origin? So with this background we will be able to complete the beta decay, and then we will just start with the gamma decay today. So the neutrino properties. So the mass of neutrino is 0. So for every property that we mention, we are also giving the reason. In the bracket we are just giving the reason. Mass of neutrino is approximately equal to 0, almost 0. And why do you say that? Because it has got weak interaction. We find that the neutrino which is coming out, we are not able to detect with any detector. If it is having mass, it will interact with the matter and energy will be delivered as heat energy. So it is a weak interaction. Therefore when the neutrino bombards you and me, or bombards the earth, it is not able to interact. Its mass is 0 because of the weak interaction. And number 2, the velocity is c. The velocity of a neutrino is c, because the mass equal to 0, but the energy carried, it is carrying some energy. Already we discussed, if Q for a beta decay, the parent and the daughter, the difference in binding energy between the parent nucleus and the daughter nucleus will be Q value, and that Q value is the energy that emerges out, and what we expect is the beta particle should take the whole energy, but beta is taking only Q by 2, half of the energy. The other Q by 2 is a missing energy that is carried by neutrino. This neutrino is massless and carrying energy. Therefore it must be having velocity of light, like photon. Photon has got rest mass 0 and it is carrying energy and it moves with velocity of light. Similarly, this neutrino has got mass 0 and it is carrying energy. Therefore the velocity must be c. Velocity must be that of velocity of light, namely 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. So we are just giving in the bracket the reason for our property. Third one, magnetic moment is 0. Magnetic moment is 0 because charge is 0. While studying beta decay, they observed that the neutrino was not detected at all using a charge detector. If you take a charge detector, it will detect the charge, like beta plus particle will be detected, beta minus particle will be detected, but this neutrino was not detected under a charge detector. Therefore it should be having charge 0. That is what Pauli said. The whole thing is neutrino hypothesis due to Pauli neutrino hypothesis. So he said charge must be 0. When the charge is 0, magnetic moment is 0. And also we find that it has got 0 magnetic moment experimentally. From the experiment on beta decay, we can observe that magnetic moment of a neutrino must be 0. And fourth one is, it has got weak interaction. Already we said in the first one, weak interaction. Here we are just giving why it is called weak interaction. So already it is not having charge 0. So we are not able to detect neutrino. We are unable to detect neutrino. So what is thought, even if it is not having charge, beta emitter, for example cobalt 60 is a beta minus emitter. If it is kept inside a calorimeter, the source is kept inside a calorimeter, we get beta minus particle and also antineutrino coming out. So the beta particle which comes out will collide with the calorimeter, namely some oil which is put in the calorimeter. It will interact, there will be a rise in temperature. Similarly, the neutrino, that should also interact, though it is not having charge, it should bombard with the oil and there must be rise in temperature. So they calculated what is the rise in temperature when you have the beta source inside a calorimeter. They observed that the rise in temperature was accounting only for Q by 2, namely only the beta particle is revealing, manifesting its existence. The neutrino is not at all manifesting its existence. We are not able to record, which means the neutrino which comes out from the calorimeter, from the source, passes through the calorimeter, comes out. So it vanishes without delivering any energy outside, without manifesting its existence. See, this is the problem we have with neutrino, and here that is why we have got for detecting the neutrino, there is a lab put in Theni near Madurai, that is INO, International Neutrino Observatory. There maybe kilometers distance below the earth, where we don't have any environmental noise like other cosmic radiation, etc. There they find they want to detect the neutrino. So that experiment is setup is going on. Once it is completed, we will be able to hopefully detect the neutrino which is coming from outside the earth, from the cosmic radiation, from sun and other galaxy. We are able to get lot of neutrino, and our attempt is to find out, to detect that, because the calorimeter experiment did not detect. Now the fifth one, spin conserved only if neutrino, antineutrino has spin off. Neutrino or antineutrino has got spin off. So Pauli said neutrino is a particle with mass 0, it moves with velocity of light, magnetic moment is 0, it is having weak interaction, and it should have spin off. In the earlier session we discussed that for two reasons neutrino was confirmed. The Pauli gave the hypothesis of neutrino, and we have to accept it for two reasons. One, the missing energy, the energy, half of the energy is carried by neutrino, the other half is carried by beta particle. So the missing energy is carried by neutrino. For that reason, neutrino has to be, we have to have faith in neutrino. We are not able to say it, we are not able to so far detect it, but otherwise we can't explain the conservation of energy. And also only if we include neutrino as a particle with spin off, we will be able to have the conservation, spin conservation, as we see below. So I will come back to the sentence. See, for example, carbon 614 will become nitrogen 714 by beta minus emission. See, this is atomic number 6, and the atomic number has increased by 1 unit because the charge, one negative charge has come out. See the charge here, this is 6, here the 6 units of electronic charge or positive charge. Here we get 7 units of positive charge, and here this is 1 unit of negative charge. So this is 7 minus 1, 6. On the right side 6, on the left side 6. So this is the reaction for beta minus decay, and it is an isobaric reaction, therefore it remains 14 here. Now here what we are going to discuss here is, along with beta minus particle, antineutrino comes. So along with beta plus neutrino and along with beta minus antineutrino. So we call it as neutrino and antineutrino. That particle which is accompanying beta plus, we call it as neutrino. You remember like that. And then negative charge for anti. So the beta minus will have the particle that comes out is antineutrino. Now here we talk about spin now. So here this carbon 614 has got spin 0. So why do you say spin 0 for carbon 614? So it has got 6 protons. It has got 6 protons, and number of neutron will be 14 minus 6, 8 neutrons are there. 8 neutrons are there. Therefore, the 6 proton, which is an even number, will couple parallelly. All of them will couple anti-parallelly, yielding 0. Plus of, minus of, plus of, they will make 0. Similarly, you have got 8 neutrons. So one will take plus of, the other one minus of, plus of, minus of, all the 8 will anti-parallelly couple. Therefore, this number of this contribution from proton, the spin contribution is 0. Similarly, the contribution of spin from neutron is 0. Therefore, the total spin is 0. Now, if you take this one, nitrogen 714, here we have got 7 proton and 7 neutron. So here of the 7 is an odd number. The 6 protons will couple antiparallelly, plus of, minus of, plus of, minus of, make it 0. There is one odd proton, one proton which will be having plus of. Similarly, we have got 7 neutrons. Of the 7, 6 will couple antiparallelly, plus of, minus of, plus of, minus of, making 0. And the 7th one, the 7th neutron will have off, because it does not have anything to couple. So it will have off. So this off, the neutron has got off, this proton has got off plus of 1. So we get the spin equal to 1 for this nitrogen 714. Now here, if you take beta minus particle, it has got beta minus particle is nothing but electron. Already we said that it is an electron which comes from within the nucleus. We call it as beta minus particle. So this is having spin off. All the particles are spin off particles. So by the way, when the particle has got spin off, they are called fermions, because they will obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. So they are called fermions. So here the neutron is a fermion, proton is a fermion, beta minus particle is a fermion. Therefore this will have off. Now without this antineutrino, see what happens. This side it is 0, this side is 1 and half, 1 and half. It will be 1 and half, or if they couple anti-parallelly, you will be getting half. You can never get 0. If you add up 1 and half, I may get 1 and half, or 1 minus half, I will be getting half. There is no chance to get 0. Therefore, that spin conservation will be violated. Therefore, what Pauli said is, this antineutrino that accompanies, it is having spin up. Now you see, this is plus 1, maybe this is minus half, minus half. So they will couple parallelly or anti-parallelly, making total spin 0. They can make it 0, because this is half, this can have minus half, this can have minus half. So plus or minus half. So minus half, minus half. So it will be 0. So the spin can be conserved only if you take antineutrino. Now you come back to the sentence. Spin is conserved only if antineutrino has spin off. This antineutrino has got spin off. Therefore, neutrino and antineutrino are spin off particles. And as we just earlier said, when it is having spin off particles, they are called fermions, because they obey Fermi-Dirac statistics. They are called fermions. Okay, now we will go to the next. So here we have said antineutrino and also neutrino, because we have, for an example, we have written beta minus decay. If we take some other reaction where we get beta plus decay, the same thing will be valid. Instead of beta plus, you will have neutrino here. That will also have off. The spin will be. Sixth one, neutrino different from photon. So here you may wonder, see, if you just see the mass equal to 0, what about photon? Photon is also having mass 0. What is the velocity of photon? That is electromagnetic photon. What is the velocity of photon? Velocity of light. Magnetic moment of photon is 0. So all the three properties are same, all the same like photon. Then how is a neutrino different from photon? Why can't we call it photon itself? How is a neutrino different from photon? Because these three properties are same. But we find that the fourth property, weak interaction, because the neutrino is very bad, it's not able to interact with the matter, whereas photon beautifully interacts. That's why we are able to have light from sun. We have got photons coming out, light radiation, photons. They are reaching us and we are able to get the sunlight, which means it is able to interact, and also the sun is able to reflect. Maybe if you take a mirror, it is able to reflect back. So it is able to interact. Same thing if you put a neutrino, a mirror or whatever you put, it will enter. It will not get reflected at all. It will not interact. The difference is these three properties are same like photon. But the fourth one, you see that neutrino has got weak interaction, whereas photon has got very good interaction. We know that. And also the fifth property, see this neutrino and antineutrino, they are all spin-off particles. Now what about the photon? Photon is spin 1 particle. So they are different in spin. So in what way the photon is different? In the first three properties, both the neutrino and photon are same. And the fourth and fifth one, they are different. The neutrino has got weak interaction, whereas photon has got a strong interaction, good interaction. And this one, neutrino and antineutrino are spin-off particles, whereas boson is a spin 1 particle. So neutrino is a different from photon in spin and interaction. That's what we just explained. And photon is a boson, because we said about spin. Photon is a boson. Why you call boson? Because it obeys Bose-Einstein statistics. It's a boson. All the spin 1 particles or spin 0 particles will obey Bose-Einstein statistics. They are called bosons. The neutrino is a fermion, because it is a spin-off particle, fermion. And the second part, interaction, we said. Photon, we have got photoelectric effect. It's a good interaction. One example is photoelectric effect. We have got a photocell. You know that photocell, solar photovoltaic cell. Sunlight falls on the roof, that is a photovoltaic panel, and electricity is produced, which means one photon, there is one electron produced. So it has got interaction. For one example we said is photoelectric effect. That is a evidence that it has got good interaction. And for neutrino, we are yet to really determine the existence. And the seventh one, now we said neutrino and antineutrino. How are neutrino and antineutrino different? So far we said about neutrino and photon. Now why can't we put both both equation, like along with beta plus we say it is neutrino. The particle accompanying beta minus we call it as antineutrino. Why are they different? Can it be both neutrino? Why are they called one neutrino and the other antineutrino? Are they different in any thing? All the properties up to 7 we have seen the properties. Neutrino and antineutrino have got a spin off, magnetic moment 0, all that. Now how are they different? They are different in one aspect, that is called helicity. They are different. Neutrino and antineutrino are different in helicities. Now this term may be a new term for you. Helicity is only direction of emission. Helicity is direction of emission. We will just tell you why the word came as helicity. So we know the helical spring. So the helical spring. So this is the direction. So if this is the direction, this is the direction of motion. So from that helical spring, that word has come, helicity. So they are different in helicity. Helicity is, what is helicity? Is the direction of emission. Beta plus and beta minus, neutrino and antineutrino, they are all very light particles. Beta plus particle has got, or beta plus and also beta minus, they have got mass approximately equal to, not approximately, actually equal to mass of electron. Beta plus and beta minus, they have got exactly equal to the mass of electron. Neutrino and antineutrino they have got almost zero mass. So they are all very light compared to neutron and proton. Neutron and proton are heavy particles. So these particles, light particles, are called leptons. So you remember that L is for light. Later on we will come to know there are some particles called mesons. They have got intermediate mass between neutron and proton and the electron. So we will come to that later. Now we will go to the next point. Now we said about helicity, direction of emission we said. Now we will just explain that. When you say helicity, mathematically we will put as H is for helicity, equal to P dot sigma by modulus P modulus sigma. Now I will try to visualize what we are trying to say. See, you just see my finger here. So you remember this is the direction, all the 4 fingers. This gives the direction of the particle revolving, proton or neutron revolving. Here in this case it is the nucleus. We are talking about the nucleus. That is the rotation. It is rotating. The nucleus, in this case we are talking about the source, cobalt source or beta source, beta minus source, beta plus source. So the source, the nucleus will be spinning, and if this is the spinning, this will be the direction of magnetic field. This will be the direction of angular momentum. If this is the direction of spinning, the thumb will be giving the direction of angular momentum. Here only comes the word helicity, because it's like a helical spring, So we get this is the direction, 4 fingers, rotation is this direction. The thumb represents the direction of motion, direction of angular momentum. Now here, that spin we call it as sigma here. That spin is sigma. What we showed as the thumb, that is the sigma here. And what is this P? P is linear momentum. So the direction in which the particle is emitted. Now again you could just, I will show in my using my hand, I will show. So we have got the finger, this is the spin direction, and the particle is also coming in this direction. Then what happens? This thumb represents sigma in the equation, that is spin, and the particle comes with the linear momentum in this direction. Both are same. The particle is coming in this direction and the spin is in this direction. So we call it as helicity is 1. Suppose the spin is in this direction, but the particle is coming down against, then it is called helicity is -1. Understand? So this is the nuclear spin direction. The thumb is up. This is spin is up. The particle is also coming in this direction. It is called helicity 1. If the particle is coming opposite, it is called helicity -1. Now we will go to the mathematically, why do you write this way? So P dot sigma, this is the linear momentum, P, the particle direction. This sigma gives the spin direction. When you say P dot sigma, it is P sigma cos theta. When it is cos 0, it will be +1. P and P will get cancelled, sigma will get cancelled. I will be getting +1. So if it is cos 0, it is +1. When it is the same direction, it is +1. Suppose if it is in the opposite direction, P dot sigma, here it will be P sigma cos 180. Cos 180 will be -1. Therefore, we will be getting H -1. So it is if it is in the same direction +1, if it is against the spin -1. Now we will read the sentence now. Beta particles have preferred direction of emission. Emission is along the spin direction or against the spin direction. So the beta particles have a preferred direction of emission against the spin direction or along the spin direction. Accordingly, we have -1 +1. So if it is against, it is -1. If it is along, we call it as +1. So I have written against and then along. So I have just here I have written minus of plus of. So against corresponds to -1 and along +1. Now when you say preferred direction, we say because it is having preferred direction, we say parity is violated. So there is violation. What is parity here? There is violation of symmetry. So if we take our nucleus, what we expect is beta particle should be emitted in all directions symmetrically. But here we find it is having only in one direction. So there is no symmetry. It is not symmetrically emitted. So we call it as violation of symmetry. So there is violation of symmetry in emission. So this is peculiar only with the beta particle. If we take alpha particle, it is emitted in all directions. If we take alpha source, everywhere we will get emission everywhere. There is no alpha particle emission is in all directions. Therefore, emission is symmetric, and there is no parity violation in alpha decay. So there is parity violation in beta decay. So we will be able to discuss further this part. We have written about H equal to P dot sigma by. Now with this we will explain with a figure what we said. How this parity violation was determined experimentally. We have got a north detector. It's only a beta detector, charge detector, and there is a south detector. Why do you call it as north and south? It is not geographical north south. It is magnetic. So we are producing a magnetic field. That magnetic field, strong magnetic field we produce. So this is the north of the magnetic field. This is the south of the magnetic field. Maybe the whole thing is kept in a helical spring, and the magnetic field is in this direction. So the magnetic field is in the upward direction. Beta minus source, for example, cobalt 60 is a beta minus source, and we found that for beta minus, H is equal to -1. Already we said that is, which means it was always against the magnetic field. So this is the magnetic field direction, but the beta minus particle were emitted downward. Now for antineutrino, they were all emitted upward. So that is because of the conservation of a linear momentum. If one particle is emitted in one direction, the other particle will be in the reverse direction. So along with beta minus we get antineutrino. So if it is, this is having -1, antineutrino is having +1. Similarly, if you take some other, not this source, some other source where it is a beta plus emitter, for example copper 2964 is a beta plus emitter, and the daughter nucleus will be nickel 2864, and here for beta plus you will find that helicity is +1. For neutrino, helicity is -1. So this is what they observed for different sources, and this is what we just now explained. What is the origin of beta and beta plus inside the nucleus? So we have been discussing, it is more like a summary. So beta plus and beta minus emission are due to proton and neutron excess. If there is proton excess, beta plus particle will be emitted. If it is neutron excess, beta minus particle will be emitted. So in proton rich nucleus, P becomes N plus beta plus neutrino. So here the one charge decreases, neutron becomes proton. In neutron rich nucleus, neutron becomes proton by beta minus emission. So it is only a conversion of neutron to proton, proton to neutron. So this only causes the beta plus and beta minus emission. Already we discussed about electron capture. If it is unable to emit a beta plus, what it takes electron capture. It already we discussed, one electron will be captured into the nucleus. Thereby what will happen? This electronic charge E, electron plus 1 proton. So the charge vanishes. This is -half, this is minus, and this is plus. So the charge vanishes, it becomes chargeless neutron plus neutrino. So we get this is the origin. Neutron becoming proton, proton become neutron. That is the origin of beta plus and beta minus emission. Summarize. So we have discussed the properties of neutrino. Like it has got a charge 0 and then mass 0, velocity of light, it moves with velocity of light, and then we know like photon, it is having energy and it is having mass 0, therefore the velocity must be that of light. And we said how neutrino is different from photon. It is different from photon in spin and also in interaction. In both parameters this is different. And we said how neutrino and antineutrino are different. They are different in helicity. You remember we said about direction of emission. Direction of emission is different. Neutrino is emitted, that is one will have +half, H is equal to +half, -half. That we discussed for beta plus, beta minus, neutrino, antineutrino. The experiment proves parity violation. What experiment? That experiment was done by scientist called Wu, Wu. So that person was able to do the experiment, and then it was tried everywhere in the world, and all got the same result, namely parity is violated. When you say parity, symmetry of emission is violated. There is preferred direction of emission, which is not there existing for alpha decay. Alpha decay, the emission is on all direction. For beta decay, emission is preferred direction. So we will just put a few questions. So mention the properties of neutrino. When you say properties of neutrino, it means for neutrino as well as antineutrino. So how is neutrino different from photon? We have already discussed that. And what is helicity? We can always write that in mathematical form also. Explain parity violation in beta decay. We can just give the experimental schematic diagram, and we can discuss. So we shall continue later. Thank you.